Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Well, I had a stretch of video thoughts I had planned on doing this week, and then something incredible happened yesterday. And I got to talk about it. I'm sorry. Yesterday, our daughter Gracie gave birth to two identical twin baby girls. One named Lydia and one named Abigail. Now, yesterday when I was teaching class, I taught about Lydia, but Abigail wasn't in the message. So today, for the video thought for the day, I thought I'd talk about Abigail a little bit. I love the story of Abigail in the Bible. You can find the story in 1 Samuel chapter 25. Now, this is a time where David is growing into his kinghood, for lack of a better way of saying it. And David is in an area called Carmel, and there's a fella named Nabal. Now, Nabal has a very rich man. And you know how those rich people can be sometimes. They tend to think that everybody caters to them. And so Nabal, he's got thousands of sheep and goats. He's got just boatloads of money. And he's married to a woman named Abigail. Now, it helps us in this story, if we were reading it in Hebrew, to know that Nabal's probably not this fella's real name. It's probably the name given to him by the biblical writers. It's a name he earned because Nabal in Hebrew means fool. And fool he was. See, David and David's men had protected Nabal's sheep herders and goat herders, had protected them while they had had their flocks out. And the time of year came where Nabal was going to have his sheep sheared. And that's when typically the protection, the shepherds, and everybody got paid. So David sent his men to Nabal and said, we protected your fellas. Nothing happened to your sheep. Nothing happened to your goats. We were great the whole time. So pay us as you will. And Nabal basically thumbed his nose at David. Said, who are you, son of Jesse? Like I give a rip about you? I'm not paying you diddly squat. No, that's not the Hebrew word for it. But he said, I'm not paying you anything. And word got back to David about this, and David was incensed. David said, okay, then this is not one who's with me. This is one who's against me. And I'm going to take my men, and I'm going to go down, and we're not going to leave one male alive out of this fella's family. I will deal with this. And David takes his men, hundreds of men, and he starts heading to find Nabal. Now, one of Nabal's men had gone to Nabal's wife. And as evil and wicked and terrible as Nabal was, the fool, his wife was the exact opposite. She was beautiful inside and out. She was very godly. In fact, one of the phrases used for her is translated in the text as she was a discerning woman, but the Hebrew means she understood good. So here's this amazing godly woman who understands good, and in spite of what foolishness her husband's doing, seeks to protect him and the rest of her house. And so she gets the food, and not just the food and the normal payment, but even more. And she rushes out to meet David and his men. And when she finds David, she falls down. She gets off the donkey. She falls down on her face before him and says, please have mercy on my foolish husband and on the rest of us. Now, it's really interesting because David's heart is moved. And David says, go in peace, your family will be in peace. And I thank God that you were wise to alert me to the mistake I was going to make. I'll let God deal with your husband as he will, but peace be upon you and your house. And that peace, shalom, is what David originally had wanted for the fool. In fact, David offers a threefold peace blessing on the fool, Nabal, with his original men who came. Said, peace be on you, peace be on your house, peace be on all you own, before Nabal snubbed his nose at him. So it's Abigail who saves the day because her godly discernment of good, knowing what was right and doing it. By the way, epilogue, God takes care of Nabal. Basically, within 10 days or so, he's dead because God took him. But Abigail becomes a wife of King David. It's an amazing story. I love the story. I love the name Abigail. Someone who discerns good, someone who hears the word of God, does the word of God, and walks in the blessings of God. Lord, may that be not just my new granddaughter, may that be everyone who hears this message. That's your video thought for the day.